I like to choose restaurant when the waiters are old. It's a good sign of a good restaurant. If people are retiring from the place they work, it's a really good sign. There's not gonna be situation in our generation because everyone wants to win easy. I think the biggest issue that people need to accept who they are, what they want from life, and if they're determined to that direction, whatever it is, I think they can get there. I mean, they just need to believe more to themselves.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the What It Takes podcast. Today I'm joined by Melih Tekin, who is the CEO of a company currently focused on distributing, well, it's called Wabel, first of all. And it's a company focused on the B2B distribution of goods, correct?
B2B matchmaking.
B2B matchmaking, that's what it is.
Events, yeah.
Melih, we had a great first discussion, and I was really interested and wanted to learn more about your journey. But first of all, huge welcome to you, man. How you doing?
Thank you. All good, man. Thank you so much. As
Awesome,
always, man. Mondays are busy, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Let's do what it takes. So,
really appreciate it, man. So tell the audience a little bit of, B2B matchmaking. Tell us a little bit more about what is it exactly that you do?
Sure. So we basically handle FMCG industry professionals, fast-moving consumer goods, basically anything you see in the retail shop. And we are mainly covering two main categories of the industry, food and beverage and health and beauty. And we are connecting buyers such as Spar, Tesco, Carrefour, food retailers, or companies like Rossmann, DM, Sephora on the beauty industry, with the suppliers who would like to sell their goods to them. And how we do that? I mean, we make sure that we put the right category managers at the private event, what we call summits. And we create the huge gathering of number one retailers of each country in a certain destination, which is this year going to be Barcelona in April. And we are hosting roughly 100, 120 retail groups in one location with the category executives, and they are meeting the suppliers who is selling that type of goods. So it's basically filtered version of the traditional trade shows. I will put it that way. What we focus is more like quality match, rather than you meet certain numbers of people, a lot of people, you meet much less, but unique people who is the decision maker, we call. So in this way, the business moves faster.
Yeah, you get that really good speed.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things, obviously, which was very interesting about you was your background, right? Because when you were younger, you mentioned that you had a lot of leadership qualities, but you didn't really think that you'd be, end up as a CEO or all this stuff, right? So let's go back to your upbringing. Where did you come from? Where did you grow up? What was your early life like?
Yeah, I'm from Turkey. I grown up in a small town called Güzelçamlı. It's connected to a seaside town called Kuşadası. It's one of the popular summer destination in the country. And I was lucky because I born in a place where the tourism exists. So there was a lot of exchanges with the tourists. Even in my small town, we had the chance to see many tourists. So my interaction with the culture starts from there. And I studied in a very basic government school, but I was having a really nice teacher on the primary time school who actually visited me today in Budapest.
That's amazing.
So, and basically afterwards secondary school, I had the chance to be elected as the president of the student union at the age of 12, I think. The school was 800 people. And so it's kind of your representative of the school. And afterwards, I joined the high school in the same town. I also elected as the president of school there for 2 years in a row. And this was something I believe I like to be in the spotlight in a sense when it comes to facing the teachers or the ruler of the school, let's say. I always have cool connections with those people still today. We are in touch with many of them. And then I think that was a good thing to be a bridge between the people. It was starting from that time, I would say. I was more like what student wants, and I'm delivering this to the teachers.
Yeah. When you first got that position at 12 years old, do you remember? I know it's a long time ago, but do you remember sort of what motivated you? What got you into it the first time?
Yeah, it was a big time motivation because I was that sympathetic guy in the school, but not so much popular in a sense. But it brings much popularity, that's for sure. That's not a lie.
Yeah.
Everybody get to know you, even the teachers and everyone in the school.
Yes.
That was not something I was expecting before I was involved.
Mm.
So I think that gives you a vibe that you feel important as a person,
Mm.
and you are surrounded by new people as well who wants to meet you. I think it increases the connection chances. That's what will be, I think, the best take from this kind of our take, let's say.
Yeah. 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 So you got this at 12, and then in high school two more times, 2 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then obviously after high school, what happens next? Because then you move on obviously to new ventures.
Yeah. So basically, in Turkey, we have a generic exam for university. I enter one of those, and I won one of the best university in the country. It's Middle Eastern Technical University. It's located in the capital, Ankara.
Mm.
But I had a family members in UK by that time, and they told me, you have a brain, we have the money, so let's use it so we can do better things. So they actually suggest me to study in UK. So on that time, the schools was requesting the certificate that shows that you won the good university in Turkey.
Mm.
So basically, instead of you are making a registration to the school, you are giving the same certificate to other schools that you apply. Meanwhile, I had the little crash with my family. My parents divorced at the same time, roughly that time. So technically, the support from mother's side gone, and I was left with my father. So in a way, that UK didn't happen because of that reason. Because of that reason, I lost 1 year in the country because I missed the timing of the registration while I was waiting for decision. And then we look for new alternatives. We tried Germany next, so we didn't give up. And I got accepted by University of Jena. It was in Berlin. It was in the top 500 school in the worldwide. But then they said in 1 year you cannot come to a C1 level German language. And they give me the start year as of next year, basically. So they find that time was not sufficient enough to be able to learn the language. So they give me rejection by visa. So I couldn't even get the visa for Germany. So imagine, it was really depressive moment. UK, Germany, and then my father starts to take over to search, and he finds something called Hungary. So that's how we end up in Hungary, basically.
Right, because that's where you live right now.
Exactly, that's where I live. That's where I study, and it's been 10 years here.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in Hungary. And yeah, I started in the school called Debrecen University. It's one of the oldest school in Hungary. But I went as I come to a summer school first in order to save the year I lost. Because otherwise I need to study foundation. There was a special program for Brazilian students. They were coming here with a special program where they are taking like 2,000 euro monthly in Hungary 10 years back. And that's a crazy amount in that time in Hungary. And they were traveling all over the world, and I need to be with them, Brazilian and myself alone, in the summer school. So they only speak Portuguese. My English was not good at that time, and they were not so open to me either. And it took 1 month, literally, to get used to the environment. So they accepted me after a couple football games. There was a World Cup on that time. So we break the ice with football with Brazilian guys. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Then I got used to the atmosphere, and I was offered to move with them. So actually,
to move with them.
Yeah, to move with them to a new place. Basically, I was in the dormitory when I arrived first.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So my first experience with the living with others start by that time. So my first flatmates was Brazilians, 3 girls actually. I lived 2 months with 3 girls in my first flat. And then I moved with 6 guys after 3 months. We lived 1 year with the 6 guys. They were all Brazilians. Every week was barbecue party and all that. So it was really good life on there.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
And just going back real quick to that moment of adversity, right, in
Yeah.
your life where you had a divorce in the family, you didn't get the opportunity to study in London or in
Yeah.
England, the UK, you were rejected in Germany. You mentioned that you got into this low point in your life. How did you stay positive? What kind of kept you going? What,
Well, I mean, I was knowing my capabilities. I knew that I
Mhm.
lost a year, but we were looking for options where I can save that year. So
Mm.
Hungary was providing that chance. And it was not so easy because in Turkey, English education that we got is not really good level. So we are good at grammar, like learning, but not practice, zero practice. So that's why it was really hard to pass the exams and to be able to study in English from the first year was not so easy. So I find a solution. I went to something called American Culture Schools for 3 months with a quick program where the teachers
Mm.
are from US and UK. So you are learning much faster in
Mm.
Turkey before I go to Hungary. That was the first thing I did. I moved to another city just for that.
Mm.
And I passed the based exam to be able to go to foundation. And I did the quick foundation in 3 months in the summer. I finished with the number one. So I passed the exam and there was a math exam as well. So
Yeah.
I was pushing a lot. All my room was literally those small stickers, everywhere one word. Typical
Yeah.
American system, what I see from the videos. I
Yeah.
was surrounded by everything in the dormitory was the stickers, literally. That's how I
Yeah.
learned the English in 3 months.
Is that like the stickers? Is that like the flashcards? Like with
Yeah,
the
like the one that colorful ones that you put so in American system you put on one side the Turkish version of
Mm.
the sentence or the word, and then you put the other version. Unless you don't know, you always stick the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So until you learn and you get rid of them and you put another 500.
Not bad, not
So
bad.
that was the system.
So you had, so what I'm hearing here is like you had this self-belief in yourself. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I went through this little rough patch. Sure, a year went by, but another year was up for grabs later. There was always the next,
absolutely.
the next year. Okay. And one thing that happened, because now you're living with all these Brazilian people, and give a little bit more context in terms of, what was the biggest experience that you learned? What did you get out of that?
Living with others, it was quite challenging because imagine you grow up in a small town where 6,000
Hmm.
people lives, everybody knows everybody, and out of sudden, like a fish out of water, you are dropped to a city. For me, it was a large city where 200,000 people was living.
Yeah.
On that time, it was considered really large compared to my hometown. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet not Hungarians, but Brazilians, who
Yeah.
I know that only common thing we have is football, not language, nothing else. So that was the case. So I was really focused to talk about football with them, and
Because you
that's
knew that's how you could connect.
absolutely. I mean, this is something you do even in daily life today in sales or any kind of relationship. You find commons.
Hmm.
So it was really the way that I open up with the guys because I had a huge like to football. I'm playing some game called Football Manager since my childhood.
I heard about it. Yeah.
I am a big fan. Like I know unnecessary so much information about football players, which leg, how tall he is, where he born, and things like that. So yeah, that was helping a lot for the creating the barriers, taking the
Yeah.
barriers out.
Yeah, no, because I know that a lot of people, right, like when it comes to meeting new people, it's always the case of like, how do you break that wall, right? How do you connect with someone? And one thing that you're saying there, which I just think is great advice for anyone who's might be struggling with that, is just finding that common ground, finding that mutual interest, and building relationship from there. Then what? What happens next?
Then I didn't study much on that high school. I mean, in the university first year because it was so much fun environment that I was having. It was very focused to party. They are getting serious amount of support from government. They are out of their country first time in their life. So
Yeah.
they were only partying, traveling, and all that. And house was empty most of the time because everybody, one was in Iceland, the other one was in Thailand. So they
Yeah.
were literally traveling everywhere. And every weekend there was parties, and school was not mandatory to attend to the classes. So I really used the advantage of that. I had a close friend on that time in the school from Iran, and he was helping me a lot in the exams. So I was passing with his support. I actually finished with 4.7 on the first year. I was number 2 in the school.
Really? And that was out of 5? Wow.
Yeah, and I was not attending almost any class except one because it was mandatory.
You got 4.7 and you barely studied.
I didn't study. I mean, the school was allowing you to pass the exams, let's say like that. It was not a hardcore school. That's why I called my father at the end. I told him honestly, you know what, I'm not gonna be anything if I continue in this uni. I need to find solutions. So that's how I changed my road to Budapest, where I study and take my bachelor. It's called International Business School, IBS, Budapest. Basically, it gives you the British degree, a Buckingham University degree, while you study in Hungary, in Budapest. So the teachers... Yeah, it was in English, and the teachers are coming from UK, US. So it was quite private school. Only people, diplomats' son, diplomats' daughters, business owners' son, business owners' daughters. Like I had the classmates from 16, and we were 17 people. So it was really like private classes with the very international group of people and with business background people. All the families are having business and all that. I was the only one without Apple product in the class. Everybody was full design Apple, like everything Apple. It was that kind of school, Compared to Debrecen, where I studied first, it was a huge difference.
That's funny. How was that for you though? Like being the only person without the design of the Apple, like
it felt in a way, a little bit strange because you belong to different category now. Surrounded by people. I have classmates from Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, and more West countries. Whereas in Debrecen, it was more like Uzbekistan, Nigeria, and it's a huge change. So, but it was easy to get along with the guys as well because it looks interesting for them what you have a background. Because we are all young, they want to get to know each other. I think it was the biggest advantage of the university that we have, like the international vibe that school gives you. Without even the education, you are able to exchange with the people from different nations that you cannot find any other place,
Yes, that is definitely one thing that when I think back to my university degree, that was probably the one thing that was the most fun. It was that you met so many people from different nationalities, right? I mean, I have close friends from, several African countries, from the US, a lot of European countries, one from Australia, right? Like, but it's just this whole international network, the people and the cultures that you're introduced to as well. But one thing I find interesting with you, Melih, is the fact that you self took the choice to say, you know what, if I stay here at this one school, I'm not going to amount to much. And you obviously shared this with your dad as well. I'm sure offered some guidance there, but it's like you were the person who took that initiative. So you had a certain vision. At this time, at this age in your life, did you know what you wanted to become at that point?
Not really, but I was lucky to be outside of Turkey studying in the paid school, in the private school. So there was the efforts of the family at the same time. So I want to appreciate it in a sense, at least to be honest, that I didn't go to school this year and there is not much teaching going on. In some classes, the teacher was speaking French, let's say, and there is a French exchange student. He was translating to the school and to the class. Right. Like the education was in really strange level, That was not only me, I don't want to go, but I didn't find it effective either. So it wasn't that cool. So that was the main reason. It was funny actually to see. I mean, when you think about it.
When I hear it now, it's like
imagine an exchange student going for Erasmus and he became assistant teacher to translate everything to the class. It was crazy.
It's very effective teaching.
Yeah, and on that year, I had the chance to meet some people from Erasmus. I mean, they come for Erasmus from Turkey. One of them was interesting. You mentioned about this work and travel program in US. So that was another action I took on the summer of the first year of uni in order to catch up, in order to increase my English level also, in order to be more express myself. And at the same time, for an experience, because US was a dream of many people to maybe live there one day. And I want to take that chance earlier. And I went there. I mean, I had some trainings in Turkey, some hiring process through some agency. It went well. And I went to Alexandria, Virginia, as a lifeguard. That was actually my first official salary that I received as a young student in the summer.
Was that your first job?
It was my first job. I mean, my background is we have a family business back in Turkey. We had boat tours. We organized boat tours between Turkey to Greek island called Samos from my hometown. And we did that for 8 years, actually. So I was 12 when I started to work as helping to my parents. But I was quite active. After 14 years old, I was even going to certain restaurants to create partnerships, to get commission for if they sell ticket for us. I was involved on many things compared to my father because he was more like more on the close side. I was more like open part of the business. I was doing the entry. I was collecting the money in the entry at the age of 15. So I was really involved to the business. I was loving to touch the money and all that,
Yeah. I really want to get back to that in a second here. But continuing real quick with your experience in the US, you moved to, and that was just for the summer?
It was only summer. So work and travel is something that you can apply in certain countries. US accepts certain students from certain areas with certain exams as well. They check your English level. They check training for the purpose of whatever you will do. Mine was lifeguard, so they did swimming test and all that. And we learned CPR and all that before we go. Afterwards, when you arrive there, they choose your pool. So you're responsible for a certain pool. And my pool was so lonely because they think that my English is better than the other Turkish guys and girls. So they put me alone so I can handle the pool alone, which was a horrible decision because it was so lonely.
Yeah.
The aim, you go there in order to improve, not to be alone and looking at the pool all day long. And nobody was coming to swim. I mean, I was so depressed in US, to be honest. It was 2 months. Nobody arrived to a single time to a pool. I was cleaning, chlorine and all that, but nothing happened.
Yeah. And you're a very social person as well. So
it's crazy. It was driving me crazy. Like I was expecting when the work is done, at least we will catch up with the co-workers because they were renting apartments and they were putting couple students to one place. At least there was the time that you do exchange. But working part, some people were working pairs of 8 people or 10 people in the big pools, They were having fun during the day too. And me alone,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a little bit of an iffy experience. And then, so you go back, you finish your bachelor, that was 2 years.
Yeah.
After the first one. And now you head into more work or to new job, no?
Yeah. I mean, I did every summer an internship somewhere. On the second summer of the uni, I did Isaac in Egypt. So I went in order to promote the travel destinations in Egypt, what to do if you go to Egypt as a tourist. So we record blogs, what is popular today. Basically, we were doing that 8 years back for Egypt. And it was a special project. Again, international group is traveling all around the country.
Yeah.
It was 45 days there. And then my real internship was in Greece. I did on the 3rd year. I was SEO manager and search engine optimization in order to make the Google ranking better for the companies in online betting. Yeah, online betting website. It was online betting because it was illegal in Turkey, but there was strong betting companies. I mean, in the strong website companies in Turkey, and one of the owners was looking for someone who can speak English and who has no problem with living in Greece. So I had residence permanent in the country. in Hungary. It allows you to live in Greece as well.
Mm.
So basically, they gave me an apartment. They give me a team of 25 Greek people. And basically, I was learning day before, and I was helping them what they do tomorrow. So I was getting instruction by Turkey and giving the class tomorrow to 25 people. Some of them was age of 45, 55. I was 19 by that time. So
Yeah.
it was so cool. It was really cool experience.
You had a lot of experiences, like obviously, the reason I wanted to go through your question, through your background, asking these questions is because I want to sort of paint a picture here, right? Is the experiences that shaped who you are today, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you've had an extroverted person who's gone out, you've met a lot of people. Obviously, you had work from the young age of 12, and you learned what it means to, to be in the workforce, and how to talk to people, and how to essentially promote and establish deals, right? Going out, creating affiliate deals with restaurants and other businesses, and saying, if you can get people to come, we'll give you a percentage, right? Like, all of these experiences, including the positions that you held in primary as well as high school, they shaped you to the person you are today, right? And now even with degrees. So moving forward, because you had you worked in a company before Wobble, right?
Yes, that's my first professional experience, because all the others are summer jobs. And before that, another important part in my life was being elected the president in the university. Because that was, I consider that one is the first real one, because in the Turkey it was easier. I mean, you are aging, people knows you around, but there you have to be accepted by many nations. I mean, there was a bunch of other candidates, from all over the world. And I did some tactics, little bit, the countries close to Turkey, little bit on this language, little bit on this language. So I created a little bit of politics, in the school, and it worked well. So
what were some of the strategies that you employed?
So I mean, you look at the places as you're Turkish origin, you see first who is more close to Turkish culture. It's like Azerbaijan, all the neighbor countries, I start with getting the votes of the neighbor countries, then Middle East, because little bit Arabic, so I take from there, and then Balkans. It was easy to get Balkans as well. So it was easy to build up, and then if you have also common friends from other nations, they tell good things about you, so it also affects the decision of the other guys. Yeah. So I won by far, like the second person was like 500 votes less with the strategy, and the school was only 1,000 people.
That's incredible.
It was really good. I mean, that part was I would say one of the first success I reached in my career. Because it was something I planned. Like, it wasn't just fun for fun,
Yeah, you worked hard for it, right? You put in that effort
absolutely
to get there.
I mean, I think I met more than 700 people in 1 week, literally, just to say hi, exchange little, invite them to parties. Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of it that's what it's about, right? Like when you do stuff like that, you have to also be liked. You obviously need a vision. You need to be a good representative, but really, a lot of the time is what it comes down to is being liked. A lot of the people that I've spoken to on this podcast are people who are in the real estate business, and one thing that they always say is, and this is, the case for a lot of sales typically, is that you can have all the answers, all the solutions, but if you're a dick, if you're not someone that people will like, it's like, I'd rather go with this guy because I like him so much.
Absolutely. It's a public opinion matters, If I tell to somebody, Darren is a nice guy, and they don't know anything about Darren, okay? And I will just mention to one of my friends, and somebody will check with him, do you know Darren? He will say, I think he's a nice guy because he has my opinion. So it's really, that's how people make rational decisions today. It's the public opinion. They ask two people, I don't know anything about you, but somebody tells something good about you. That's why I think Darren is good. So this is what happens today on many things when we make decisions. You suggest a restaurant to a friend, you say it's good, and he thinks it's good, he goes there.
Yeah.
It's recommendation, you know?
Yeah.
It happens on the people as well. So
Yeah, it's very powerful. I was actually recommended a restaurant when I was in Marrakesh not so long ago. And obviously I went, you know. I didn't
you
go to
see,
another restaurant that I
exactly,
read
you have
online
it.
was number one. I went to this
Yeah,
one because he told me it was good.
exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how we change people's opinion about things.
And at the age of how old were you then? 19?
With the 21, it was
You
the
were
last year
20.
of the uni.
Last year of uni, you were 21. This knowledge of, of politics, like this strategy that you used there, was that a result of just your early life experiences? This
I will say,
understanding?
no, I will say there is a little bit effect of that, but I was already having close friend group from different countries. So of
Hmm.
course, I think it's in life the most important thing is who you are surrounded by.
Mm.
I mean, it's very classic saying, "Tell me five people around you, I tell you who you are." So I mean, it really matters who is around you, and my people were also outgoing people. So it was really easy. I just tell them, guys, I want to be this, and they help me out too. You know,
No. Mm.
it's
Yeah.
really teamwork on everything in
Yeah.
this kind of this kind.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after university, you finish that first year. What happens next?
So basically, in the sixth semester of the uni, you have these job fairs coming to your uni. They're looking for candidates for the new IBM, Vodafone, Tata Consulting, big companies. And there are also some small businesses located in Hungary. So
Mm.
on that day, since I was not the best student, I didn't print many CVs. But luckily, one of my friends did a favor. He brought one CV only for me. You have to drop a CV in order to apply.
Yeah.
So they told me before I enter the place, there is a company. They sell, they travel, and they organize events. You know, I think you should go there. And I literally just went straight to that company where I worked first. And there was the owner of the company on that time. So we shake hands. I said that welcome to our school. I'm the president of the school. And my friends told me that you're looking for someone who is good at sales, who can travel and help you to make the events. I'm here. I have only one CV. I'll drop it here. And then and the next day they hired me. So it was just like it was like this, you know.
It's so funny because it's like, the optics. I'm trying to position myself in the eyes of the CEO, right? I'm the CEO of this company, and then the president of the school who is outgoing, you already have that natural character. You walk up to the guy and you're like, hey, I only brought one CV, right? Like as if
Exactly.
you're
Yeah, it's like this is the only choice, you know.
yeah. And it's like the confidence, but hearing the backstory where it's like you didn't really do anything and then your friend just brought you the CV, it's really fun to hear how it worked out, right? How you got this position. And then, okay, so you got this job, you were hired next day?
Next day, in a sense that basically they invite us next day to interview, face-to-face interview. After the interview, there was a part of, expecting the answer. Even at that time, actually, I didn't get accepted immediately. It was taking some time, but I was following up a lot. There was a lady from US who was a team leader on the sales on that time. I was chasing her like almost every week until I get at least a no, I was just reminding. So she said that if this guy chasing me this much in the hiring process, he will give hard times to the clients too. So it's a good sign, follow up.
Yeah.
So basically, I convinced them. They were not looking for hiring faster because they had an event. So she replied me, okay, I see how confident you are. I want to hire you, but we have an event. Do you have a suit with you? You can dress up and come to an event before the trainings. I said, why not? I have it, even though I didn't. So basically, my first day in the job was already the event, what they sell. So I was in the middle of an ongoing event, what we do today even as Wabel as well. Matchmaking event in a T format shaped tables, buyers from all over the world, sellers from different countries. And I was in the middle of that. So it was crazy, it was like mind blowing for someone who likes this vibe of international vibe. and business
It's-
going on at the same time.
I mean, it was the perfect job for you, right?
Yeah.
How did you get the suit?
Like on that, I mean, it was so quick as well. I went to, I don't know, I checked where can I buy suit, you know? It was, I remember it was Zara. My first suit was Zara.
Yeah.
I remember like yesterday. So it was a full black with white shirt. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it because it's like, you know, it's very solution oriented, right? Like you're presented this opportunity and she says, you know, can you come? But you need a suit. Do you have a suit? And it's like for you in your mind, it's like, no, I don't have a suit, but I don't know,
Yes.
it might be hard to get one. I don't know if I can afford it. It's like, I have a suit, sure. And then, you know, the next, you know, thing is, how do I get a suit? I need to get a suit. Where can I buy suits? And obviously Zara, it's not like crazy expensive, you know, but you still get decent suits, and you joined that. And so, and you worked there for quite some time, right? Like you were, so you were doing sales at this company.
Yeah, from that day, I started basically sales on the food category.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing, the lady who hired me from US, she left the next day, the company. So basically she hired me. She introduced me to people as well. Melih will have great future, blah, blah. We are already connecting with people. And the next day she didn't come to office. Literally, I went for a training after the new event and she left the company.
But did you replace her?
No, I mean, I was there as a junior salesperson, and she's supposed to be the one who hired me and who's supposed to train me more about how to sell. And she was not there. So literally another category team leader saw me looking around, you know, and she told me, okay, come, I'll teach you. And so I was like literally like a leftover on the corner, you know. It was quite hard. First month was quite hard because even though you are good, outgoing, you can talk, over the phone is not the same. I mean, you don't see the person and all that. And it's kind of, you have a script that you have to follow a little bit. And I like to make more natural talks. You know, I'm not the guy of writing down things and gonna read from the script. So until I learned the full business, it was really hard for me to get used to it. Mm-hmm. But after the 30 days, I completely understand what we want to do. In order to sell, we need to improve the quality of the buyers. So I started to bring buyers, which was not my scope of work, in order to sell easier. So I was bringing better buyers and selling at the same time. Our first one was in Madrid, in Spain. So I did 7 sales and 8 buyers. My target was 4 sales. So basically, then they let me to travel because best performance was traveling to the events, to deliver the events as well. And on that time, there was a lady in the company for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So they choose the brand new guy, you know, on the second month.
Not bad.
Not bad. So since then, I was not second at all in the sales. So that was the start. And I just did better and better for that company in the sales. It went 14, 20, 13, some events. So it really went up and up. And of course, sometimes some natural things are happening around you. One of the team lead left for family reason. One of them left for the health reason. It's like my way open naturally. Usually you need to wait this kind of things to happen, you know? But in my case, it was more natural. So when somebody left, they put me on that position. And then when another person left, they put me on that position. And then COVID hit the company. One of the managing directors, I mean, on that time, who was running professionally the company, left. And they told me, okay, you took over. I was 25. In the 3.5 year, I was the person reporting to the owner.
That is incredible, man.
I had 20 people on that time. And the different departments.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, because a lot of companies, what they do is they will promote the person who has been doing well previously in the sales, right? So the salesperson will often become the manager, and that can either be very strategic or it could also backfire. But how did you, because now that you're in that position, how do you adjust? Because obviously it's different responsibilities, right? You're not doing the same thing you were when you were down here, you know?
Absolutely.
How did you adjust to that?
I think the best way to be able to go up is to replace yourself first. So you have to always find someone who has same qualities, who can bring similar results to you in order to go up. I think that's the best secret on the big companies as well. That's why they don't raise much people, because they don't see that perspective. So in a smaller organization, in order to be able to go up, you have to be able to find somebody who can do the job. You tell that I make sure that guy is trained well, he will do the same result. Now feel free to give it the next. So, you have to ask things at the right time. When it comes to asking for a salary raise, you have to be going there. You have to go there when you are in the top. There is no whatsoever option that they can say no because you are the best. You never go and ask raise just to ask raise, You have to be in the best shape. I mean, if the football players, if you're following football, people are getting salary raise when they're performing crazy. And then people are saying, oh, he's earning less than this guy, but he scores more.
Yeah.
Why? So this is the time that you get natural recognition.
Yeah.
I think there's a secret of how you grow. And second of all, I think what makes it unique is the people around you. For me, it's really important who you have in the team. So my team was really close to me in a sense that we studied together with half of them. And the other half, we do the HR. But it was really nice team. It wasn't feeling like just we are in the office together. We were going to lunch together. We go out together. I was working in the boat party. I did not mention, but in the financial times when I had some issue in the certain part of my life where I have to save money in order to be able to stay, where our boat crashed basically. Before I find this, the boat. Yeah. So that was the part I find the boat party business. So that saved me a lot actually. And those people, they were helping me on that time. So I bring them from the boat party to sell the event with Stamegna.
Look at that.
My first company. Yeah.
You're really leveraging your strengths there as well. And then at some point, Melih, what was so interesting, I remember on our first conversation, was your transition to Wobble, right?
Yes.
What was that like? What happened then?
I mean, that was a huge decision for me. I mean, it's risky, first of all, because you are in the same business field and it's a direct competition. And secondly, I mean, it's a risk that you are leaving a country to go completely set up in a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because it was Paris-based job. And the third, environment. I mean, you don't know anybody, so it will be brand new. Here, you are already a king, in a way that you have your team, everybody, you are collected. But there, you will be some of them, none of them.
And how did this opportunity present itself to you?
So there was such a trade show that we went to represent the company, Stamegna, on the time, with a team of 4 or 5. And one of the guy was doing great job. He did many sales, face-to-face sales. And we were having a dinner. And I think bill was a bit over than expected, supposed to be. And I got a message from the owner directly because I was using the card of the company. I wanted to explain him, but he didn't listen much. He just said that, what are you doing, guys? I will cut this from your salary without even asking, And there was also other issues as well in terms of the growth of the company or salaries, base salaries for the other people. I requested a lot of times, but there was no changes happening. So on that part, I said that I will move to Wabel, but it was just like, I just say it, I didn't apply, I didn't do anything by that time, by the way. But in my mind, I was creating Wabel already. Like, I will go to Wabel. And I did in front of a couple of people who was in my team. Maybe it was not the right thing to do, by the way, especially in front of other people who believes you. But it was just saying because I was so angry or whatever. After that, I still continue one more year after I said that.
Right.
But in one of the event, one of my colleagues was with me in Amsterdam. And a month before that event, I sent my resume first time to Wabel. Nobody replied, which is not normal because my C was quite matching. It's direct competition and, at least they will consider me as a sales guy, worst case. He told me something strange, you should write to the owner directly. And then I take an intention, write the owner, who is my current partner, Pierre. And, I said, look, I'm Melih. I applied to your, company, and I want to know more about Wabel, and I will be great. I will be happy to have an opportunity to talk to you. Are you at, and he asked for me, are you in Amsterdam? Are you in the event? I said, yes. Let's catch up for a dinner. So I went directly at a dinner, and he explained me about Wabel, all history. It was so natural, It wasn't feeling like an owner of a huge company.
Yeah.
He was really a humble guy. And I was opening up as well, in a way, what I did in the past, who I am. The chemistry was there.
Yeah.
From the first time we met. And he gave up on a big gathering. They had a party for the team, so he didn't go there. He really take time to come and have a dinner, yeah. And it was a big gathering. They are doing every year at that event with the whole team. Yeah. So he did that because he was already having a plans to move the company either to Greece, Turkey, or Hungary. So just for your information, I'm Turkish, half Greek, I live in Hungary.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically I said, you find, your puzzle is done. He told me about his plans. He wants to open up another branch to give a shot if we can make the same thing with the lower cost, all that. I explained about the cost part, living standards in Hungary and all that. He said, okay, let's give a shot, I would like to work with you. Give me a number, and we'll figure it out. Everything was set. I requested more things for the people that I'm going to take with me because it was not only me, I wanted to save others as well from what they have there. Yes. So I create standards in the level of big companies in Hungary as a start level, bonus level, benefit level. Like we have the best health insurance in the country. They are getting better bonus than many other companies, and the base salary is higher than the base salaries in IBM and Vodafone.
Mm.
So I asked all this, but it was still better than France.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we make all the math in the table, we did the whole math. We are taking, like I go back, I check with the lawyers what I can do and all that. Because it's very important. The direct competition, there is a non-compete agreement. Mm-hmm. This is something, maybe it's already good information for people.
But did you have a non-compete with the company?
Yes, because non-compete, as long as you are in the same field and company activates, which means you have to pay certain fees to government to keep this clause for you. But on that time, because I find other reason, I said that I create both party business. That's why I'm leaving company. Yeah. And the CEO on that time, who was above me but part-time, she was overviewing my work just part-time. And they fired her because they said, because of you, you couldn't control him. We fire you. And she told me, Melih, I know you are a smart guy. You are not moving for both party. So since I left, at least I can help you more. Tell me what is in your mind. I said, look, I got an offer from Wabel, and be honest with me that I have non-clause, He said, don't worry, they don't pay the non-clause. So you can move, they cannot do anything. So it was a last drop,
Oh, wow.
So once I learned this, I was safe. So then we created the company, I accepted the offer. It was like, I was having good relation with her as well. She was managing Lagarde Group, which is the duty-free in the Budapest airport.
Yeah.
And at the same time, part-time, she was managing the company, like financial reports or these things. She was my mentor, basically. So that's how I started, basically, at Wabel.
That is such an interesting story. I mean, if I were that girl, if I was that woman, I mean, personal relationships with you out of the equation, I would still help you just out of spite because I got fired from the.
But she was not having good relation with them either. So she was really fighting towards the things that I want to have as well. But we couldn't convince on that time the owner of the company. So she was most of the time on my side, but she couldn't make it happen. And it was part-time anyways. And they blame her again without even asking her.
No.
And she already left the company before me. So then she just contacted me afterwards, to be nice. I mean, it was nice of her, to be honest.
But then the position that you initially got at Wobble, that was the CEO title.
Well, it was weird because in a sense, I am a CEO in the Pierre's eyes, but we are trying to keep that as a secret from the French team because they don't want quick change. On that time, there was already a CEO, a sales director, 2 partners, a CFO, all that positions was full. So they put me, let's say, as the CEO of a Hungarian branch, UK. But at the same time, I'm taking slowly leadership on the sales, and then I'm involving the sourcing. Pierre is like dropping me to everything slowly. I go 2 weeks to Paris, I stay 2 weeks in Budapest, and each time I go, I got some other people around me, just to get accepted by. And French people are not easy. To be honest with you, it was really hard, difficult to be accepted by the French people coming from the different company, which is lower in terms of revenue compared to Wabel. It was really hard to get accepted. They were talking to me in French, even though they know that I don't speak French. But I said, okay, if they're not gonna change, we have to change the system. We started to make. The cooperation at the beginning was good, but they were not. Once they see that Budapest team is growing, they felt bad in France. That was actually the issue. And their motivation went down and they started to look jobs and all that. And slowly we changed the operation, switching, like hiring more in Budapest and slowly decreasing the number in France. And at the end, there was a stage in order to agree with the people. We made the deals. We agree with certain people. You say that I will keep this many people in the company and I will rebrand the company. So basically, in order to be clean in the government eyes, also open a new page completely with the new partnerships. So we closed the existing Wabel company and we made an offer to rebrand the existing company with this number of people. I went to French court myself as who is making the offer in front of people, like everything is French. I don't speak a word. And I made an offer to buy the Wabel. So it was under me, the whole thing.
Wow.
And during that time, we had a conversation with Pierre. I was really having the both party business in Budapest, but it was not going well. And he told me, okay, look, you are good. You have good potential, but you don't know how to hold the money or you don't know how to create partnership. What do you want from life? I said, I don't mind to be a partner. I really like this sector. You see that my background is here. I will be more than happy if I can be partner at the Wabel. He told me, okay, how much you could afford. I said, how much you are willing to give and the percentage. So I will figure out the money. I have zero money on that time. I'm not joking. Like literally, I have almost no saving, but I'm just hiring and thinking about how much he could offer. He told me 25% maximum. He gave me a number. Okay. I said, I will figure it out. I said, okay, I will find it until end of next month. From their connections, all that, some people that I know, I find a way to bring it together, a really big chunk of amount, which I never had in my life in my bank account.
You got the funding to invest 25% into Wobble.
Exactly.
And you did this just by networking?
Just network. The people I know from their close friends.
What was the deal that you made with them? Did you just like, hey, can you give it to me?
No. I literally, I get borrow interest rates and things like that. Some of them I take for 1 year. Some of them, it was a close friend. I asked 2 years. And before that, I was helping some other friends, back in Turkey for their businesses time to time. And luckily, one of them was doing a construction, create 2 villas, and he wanted to sell. And I was helping while he was creating. And when he sell it, he gave me some money without expecting to return in 1-2 years. They give me serious amount because I helped him in the past. And it happened with another friend of mine. And then my mom sold one of the house. So I got half of it, and this is really like how I put the investment together.
That's incredible, man. That's like,
and it happened really in the 1.5 month period where I didn't have any plan, any talk with any of these people.
Yeah.
So I make it happen. Day before the deadline that he gave me, I put the whole money as an investment to France.
Yeah.
And that last part was important. I wanted to have someone who can share the same passion with me. And there was a guy who was with me at Stamegna for 3 years, and he was one of the good sales guy. And now he's our third partner. So I want to involve him also, that he can have also part, that he can push same way as I pushed, you know? We can back up each other in the bad days, good days. So that there could be two people at least pushing towards to the success. So I tried to involve him as well. I opened up to Pierre. He said, okay, I can do 5% more, but you have to give a little bit from yours too. And it's not going to be from the same evaluation in terms of pricing. Fine. We shake hands. So me, my partner, from here, Ayaz, he's from Azerbaijan. And he's a 25-year-old guy with a master's degree. He's a really great sales guy. He speaks 4 languages and he's really talented guy. So we pull it together. So now we own 30%, 23%, 23.5 mine, 6.5 his, and 70% Pierre. And now that's the new partnership we have. And we are running the operation here. Pierre is just mentoring us once a week in the weekly meetings, and that's it.
And here you are, CEO of Wabel. Your story is really remarkable because you're like hearing it fully now. I'm piecing the pieces together, the type of person you are, how your experiences have shaped you, right? From, you had all these early leadership positions, you had the networking, which obviously you need to have a certain mindset. The level of problem solving at several stages in your life as well, including now even just the 25%. It's really interesting. How do you view your early experiences, how they shaped you into who you are today?
Look, since my childhood, I really like to spend time with the grown-up people, like older people than me. Because I feel some people, especially it's not applies for all the old people, but I also see it, experience is something you can't buy, but you can learn. So I had a lot of exchange in the early age, before 18 even. I always hang out with older people who is 10 years, 15 years older than me even. And it applies on all my also work time as well. Like I always try to talk with people who already made it, who already see it, or if not him, but his father. Especially in the uni, that was the advantage. All their father or mother, they were someone. And of course, you're friends with them and you're exchanging a lot with their parents too. So I learn a lot this way because I don't have business mindset people in my family. We don't have entrepreneurs in my family. It's like very classic entrepreneurships, like save money, buy a house and classic stuff. We don't have anybody who create a company and, who build up something. So for me, it was more about what I take from while I travel, while I talk with people. And it's, everybody's win or loss can give you a story. So you learn a lot by listening from the people because they tell you what they did wrong, what they did that worked. And if you are a guy who can understand, differentiate this, you can have a plan in your mind what you want to do.
Now, what is your vision for, your future? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, 10 years?
I think in the first 5 years, I see that Wabel will be one of the main sourcing platform for the buyers all over the world, not only in Middle East and Europe as of today, but in Asia, US, Africa. I think we will be in all the continents. And in sense of when the buyer needs something in the store, they will find Wabel as one of the sourcing option in their mind. So I want to be the pop-up in their mind. If I need something, Wabel will find me that. How they gonna do that? They will show me online and I will be able to meet them face to face. So this is where I want to be with the Wabel, and this is what we want as the company, as a vision as well. So we want to be a sourcing platform, sourcing solution partner for the big retailer chains. You name it, we have it. We want to be able to say that. Any retailer you say that we have it as a client. And if you make that happen, of course, money will follow, because at the end of the day, you will be leading company by knowing all the buyers in the industry.
Yes.
And now you just need to fulfill their demands, which is the event part. So we create category-based events in several sectors: frozen, dairy, grocery, drinks, alcoholic, non-alcoholic beverages, and beauty, personal care, skincare, hair care, healthcare, oral care, like several events, but more options to buyers. So buyers, instead of going big trade show, traditional shows, where it's 5 day, too long, too hectic, everything is double price. I mean, because of the time of the events, we want to give the same atmosphere in a filtered version, in a 5-star atmosphere, where people dine together. They really create the network in a shorter period, in 2 days. That's the main goal. That's the main goal of the company. And today, I think we are in the right path with the upcoming event we have in Barcelona. We are going back to the numbers of 2018, which was the best years of Wabel, already in the second year. So it's quite promising. So I hope we can scale up and we can be in the number one in the industry, in this industry.
That's awesome, man. Now, to wrap it up, Melih, I have a lot of other questions, man, but I'm looking at the time here, and it's like we've been talking for more than an hour now, and it's crazy.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like that, huh?
No.
I have one final question for you, though. What does it take to succeed?
It's a quite wide range question, but what I will say, I will go from my case. First of all, I think when I look back now, I tell you the whole story. I think there is no giving up. That's one of the things. Like I had parts. I had actually 2 or 3 times that I could be just say that, oh, it's bad, it's my luck. Why this happened? I could blame what is happening around, But instead I take an action. So that makes a difference. That's number one. Number two, I think in the schools, people are so focused on studies, getting best grades and all that. But I really think that everything at the end of the day in business is network. So number two is definitely you need to have a good network. I'm not just saying to have people just because they have money, but having good people around, having people that you can count on. If you are surrounded by the nice guys, nice people around you, and believe me, that will take you to level you want to go because you have the same direction. I mean, if you are around, if your surroundings are smart people, they know what they want from life, and you have similar goals in life, it makes you automatically more successful because what you talk is different than the random talks in outside. So I think that's I will put second. And I think you shouldn't, there is bad and good days in every day in our life as well. One day you feel super happy because you sleep well. Some other day you don't sleep well, you don't feel that good. So at the end of the day, I believe whatever happens in life, you need to be determined in a way that you know what you want and you do whatever it takes to get there. You have to understand that it will not happen one day. I think that's the problem of our generation. Okay? People wants to reach things so fast in one day, quick. They like to be, okay, I want this, I move there. They are more like, there's no loyalty much going on in the current business atmosphere. In the past, if you look just one generation back, they stay in the same company for 20 years, 30 years. Today, I like to choose restaurant where the waiter is old because it shows that he was there for a long time.
Yeah.
Win easy. And one fact, nobody will win. At the end, not everybody can win. There will be certain people, and we need certain people in every sense in life, And I think the biggest issue that people need to accept who they are, what they want from life. And if they are determined to that direction, whatever it is, I think they can get there. They just need to believe more to themselves. And they need to be less distracted by things because there is always distraction for anything, anyone. So if you have something certain, regardless the goal is, like you have to close your ears and, move to that direction if you really want that. Because in bad days, people, you will be alone most of the time. Especially if you are the one who decides on top. But in good days, everybody is happy.
Mhm.
So the people who wants to be a leader, they have to handle those bad days too.
Mm.
Because in bad days, nobody will come to you. Few people will come to you. Good days, everybody is happy,
Mm.
I mean, I think that's what it takes. If you are aware of these facts, and of course you have a good work-life balance as well, which is important. We shouldn't lose that too,
Mhm.
in order to also enjoy what you earn. Because if you're not enjoying what you earn, it's also pointless for me. At least my mindset is like that.
Mm.
So we give 2 holidays to people mandatory in order to make sure that they go to holiday, they enjoy the holiday, they come back to make more, to go to
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
we are encouraging people to do that, in the company.
Mm.
So it's really important. They need to have that. They need to have travel. They need to have the time with family or whatever.
Mm.
I mean, I think it's really important in order to achieve the right place.
Do you do that?
Myself, yes. I mean, especially after Wabel, even more. Because in the past, I didn't have that in the previous company. I was giving a lot, but I was not having more for myself. It was so standard, my life standards in general. Now I'm having a family, time with friends, time to myself. I think it's really important in order to build up.
Mm. Yes. Well, Melih, I have to say you've definitely inspired me as well, and I'm sure you inspired someone on listening here. I had a blast talking to you, also hearing about your story, man. I appreciate you a lot for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So thanks a lot and
It was
take care,
great
buddy.
talk. Thank you. Have a great day.
Take
Ciao.
care.